Gavin here. I promised to make you a video and here it is. So the video is regarding a vertical garden. So what I did was I've got a little setup here at home, and as you can see it starts off, there's a bucket here at the bottom with some duckweed in it. Now the duckweed is very important because what happens is it takes the ammonia that the fish make in the system and it converts it to nutritional value for the plants. And then what happens is this water gets pumped up to this bucket, and from that bucket it gets pumped up to this bucket. Now the interesting thing from that bucket is that it drips down all the way to this one, gets filtered in here, and then gets pushed back here. But now the vertical garden, which is right over here, you can see the plants growing in the pipes. Some strawberries, some parsley, chives. I'm trying different methods at the moment. That's why some are looking a little bit weaker, and I've replanted a few. But each pipe has got a different wicking method. But I found the most successful one is actually not having anything at all. It's actually putting plastic inside, and the roots get watered via the plastic. But what I also do is I use fish tank water, because fish tank water is very nutritious for the plants, and then it gets cleaned by the plants and I can put it back into the fish tank. Then what happens as well over here, this water all gets pumped up to my roof, and from the roof it drips down into the vertical garden, which is over here. So that is the concept of a vertical garden. And it's not just that, then you also get deep water culture, which is over here. Now this is me growing some basil and parsley over here, and all it is some buckets with some air stones inside of them, and I'm growing in the water. Here's basil as well, and gooseberries, believe it or not, it's all growing over here just in water. And I'm still just using the fish tank water to fertilize it, but one can also buy nutrients and make it look even better if you have the correct NPK levels. Now this is another part of the system, and what I've done actually here, and this is what the same what's going to be on the site, these are drippers. So these are 2 litre per hour drippers that are connected to your main HDPE pipe, and then they drip slowly into the pots. As you can see, it's dripping there. The nice thing is with this tubing, I can move the tubing around so that it drips exactly where the roots are. And that's the intention with the succulent, is that when we water the plants, it waters exactly at the roots and we don't use too much water, especially now that there's a water problem and a water shortage. One does not want to lose water, especially it draining out the bottom of our raised beds. In these boxes, it's not soil that you see. This is actually vermiculite, so it's also completely soil free. All about hydroponics. And the difference between hydroponics and aquaponics is that in aquaponics you actually have fish included in the system, and hydroponics is only water. Here's another part of my system that is also working with gravity-based drip irrigation. As you can see, I've connected my connectors there. This is another one of my bigger gooseberry plants, but these now are planted in soil. So I'm growing gooseberries over here, and I'm growing chilies over here, and you're probably wondering why there is hay. The hay actually prevents the soil from drying out, so it actually seals it up, and then the water retention is much higher in the soil. And right next to it I've got some mint as well. It's growing also. As you can see, the pipe is there and also dripping up in there as well. This is another part of the system. This is called a flood and drain system. What happens here, this is LICA, and LICA has got no nutritional value but a very high surface area. So what happens in this system, as you can see here, some basil and chives and onions, the water fills up here every 5 minutes, and then it gets drained out over here with a bell siphon. So as soon as it reaches a certain level, the siphon kicks in, and all of a sudden it will drain the bedding,